Nigeria is a disgrace. The whole thing is a disgrace. They're killing people by the thousands. It's a genocide, and I'm really angry about it. And we pay, we give a lot of subsidy to Nigeria. We're going to end up stopping. The government's done nothing. They're very ineffective. They're killing Christians at will. And, until I got involved in it 2 weeks ago, nobody even talked about it.
Hi, welcome to the Pictures Portal. What you're seeing on your screen right now is a wedding ceremony of one of the kingpins in this country. Just look at the confidence with which these guys are coming to this wedding ceremony, fully armed, and they are not military personnel. These are bandits. These are the people carrying out this massive invasion in churches and all that. You can see them coming boldly in broad daylight, like we are running a parallel government, or we have this doesn't look like the same country or the same Nigeria right here. And yet with all this, somebody says these people are the problem.
Igbos, they are tired of this world called Nigeria. Hausa is not the problem, but the Igbos. Any Igbo can go against it. You can lambast me, you can insult me, it's not my business. It gives me courage, it gives me more glory and blessing. Your insult. Igbo, they are the problems of this country. They are desperate of power. They want to rule Nigeria at all costs. And I've not seen them ruling Nigeria, even in coming dispensation. Let them bring, when 10 trillion will come out.
Anyway, you know what bigotry and hypocrisy look like, so you just watch the video that explains it. Now, this is the aftermath of course, the attack on the CSC church in Ekiti local government of Kwara State. And of course, when it gets to Kwara State, it's already close to Ibadan, and Ibadan is close to Lagos, and Lagos is the headquarters. Basically, like a very dark man has been saying, we're basically surrounded. Now, this is the aftermath for people thinking that it was AI generated, or it was a stunt or a photo ops. You can see the disaster. You can already see the mess from the beginning of the video, and how they were able to bring down 2 people or 3 people. Then the kidnappers have started making and placing demands. So let's just keep praying for those who are in captivity. But before you go, I want us to watch this video of this beautiful lady. She made a very strong video on the Minister of Defense. That is one thing we need to know about this country. Christians, we need to wake up. Let's just watch this video, then we have something to say about it.
Let's talk about what the Ministry of Defense is and what it requires. Ministry of Defense is the body responsible for national security. It is supposed to supervise the Nigerian armed forces, protecting our borders, overseeing defense policies, military intelligence, coordination of armed operations, procurement of weapons, and advising the president on all matters relating to national security, to the national security of the hundreds of millions of Nigerians across every nook and cranny of this country. Ideally, the Minister of Defense should be someone with very strong experience in military service. Someone with strong experience in military service, in national defense, national security, defense strategy, counterinsurgency operations, intelligence work, or at least expertise in defense administration. Someone who understands troop deployment, someone who understands conflict zones, military logistics, threat assessment, weapon procurement, and the very architecture of national security. Now, let's look at who we actually have as the Minister of Defense. Nigeria's current Minister of Defense is Bello Matawalle. Yes, the former governor of Zamfara State, the person who was the governor between 2019 to 2023. Yes, the same Zamfara that is one of the most terror-plagued states in the northern region. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is his qualifications for being the Minister of Defense, right? His background is that he started off as a teacher in a government girls' college in Morike and one other place in Zamfara State. Then he became a civil servant where he joined the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. And then he gave politics a shot, where he ran and won a seat in the National Assembly, and he left the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. That is in 1998, and he has been in politics ever since. He held multiple political positions, including being a House of Reps member at some point before he became the governor of Zamfara State. And somehow, despite not having a single strand of military or defense-related experiences or expertise, not anywhere in his education or career, he is now in charge of national security for the entire country. This is a man who has never served in the armed forces, never officially trained in defense strategy, never managed a military operation, never worked in intelligence, and never handled any form of defense logistics. And yet somehow he is responsible for coordinating security operations against Boko Haram, against bandits, against multiple other terrorist groups and militant groups we have across the country. And here is what is more concerning to me personally. As the governor of Zamfara State, he could not control the insecurity in his state. Under his leadership, Zamfara remained one of the most terrorized states in Nigeria. But somehow, after failing to secure one state, he was put in charge of securing 36 states, including the FCT. And then we have the allegations. During his time as governor, he has been accused by the current governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, of basically frolicking with bandits. He has been accused of colluding with bandits, keeping bandits in the government house in Zamfara, paying ransom directly to terrorists, and procuring even vehicles for popular notorious bandit kingpins. When we say bandit kingpins, I mean people like Bello Turji. And if you think I was done, I'm not. Right after he left office, the FCC announced a massive investigation into allegations of extensive corruption, fraudulent contract awards, and the misappropriation of funds of over 70 billion naira during his administration. See, when I talk about politicization of insecurity in Nigeria, right, this is one of the very many examples of what I mean by that. When people with no defense experience, people with unresolved controversies, people who could not secure their own states, when these people are placed in charge of the national security of the entire country, it becomes clear that appointments are not based on competence, they're based on politics, on who knows who or who can do what for who in power. It stops being about governance, it stops being about protecting the people, and it starts being about protecting the interests of those in power. Now, whether the allegations are true or not, one thing here remains a fact. Nigeria deserves a Minister of Defense who has actual.
Now we just had to play this because knowledge is actually power, and this is not a time for Christians to be ignorant. Be not ignorant of the devices of the devil. Do you understand? These people deliberately planted themselves into the places of power for times as this, so that when it comes to when the agenda will be fully blown, they would have been properly fixated. They would have been properly fixated into strategic positions. They would have been placed in high places of authority, so that when the agenda is about to be driven to the core, they will find themselves in the governance, in the government. Since you do not want to accept their jihad, their Sharia law, they will be democratic and political and invade your system, and then they will take over. This is their ultimate agenda. There are so many videos. In fact, we're going to be posting those videos in our coming posts and uploads, telling you the agenda of those people in the long run. Christians, this is the time to wake up. And another thing we see online that we do not support is people coming to attack pastors, attack ministers of the gospel. Yes, a lot of them have made mistakes in the past, and we cannot go back and undo what they have done. And of course, they have come out to say, like Daddy Gio has come out to say, the whole this thing that he did, he was instructed, and the CAC and the CAN and the PFN have not come to debunk the fact that they never told any of them to do that. You understand? They have. We know that the PFN and the SCAN, they are deeply politicized. That is the basic truth. Let us tell ourselves the truth. We are not here to sugarcoat anything. It's deeply politicized. They know what they are receiving from the federal government. A lot of them. Of course, we are not saying that that Jew or many of the pastors inside are receiving it, but as a body, PFN and CAN, they have to liaise with the government for them to be functional. That is just the basic truth about it. So let's just forget about it. So if that Jew has come out to tell people and say the reason why I did that protest was because the president of CAN said we should go to the street. Right now, we should say, okay, the president of the CAN, what are you saying this time around? Shouldn't we go to the street this time? Or is it because the person that is now on the throne is now your brother? Do you understand? So this whole hypocrisy and bigotry thing has eaten so deep into the church. You understand? But that's not what we are talking about. The truth is, there is no way we can be offended at the pastors because they don't have anything to do about this thing. Do you understand? You can't expect a pastor. I see people dragging Pastor Jerry Eze. Do we want him to carry the AK-47 and jump to the street and start shooting the bandits? Is that what we want? No, his job as a pastor is to pray. That is the truth. Is to pray and teach people the right way. If not for the ministry, of the churches in Nigeria, a lot of things would have gone haywire. The reason why a lot of people are still in their right mind and still calm in their senses is because of the teachings and the works of these men of God. So we cannot underplay or downplay their contribution to the society. Many of them have lended their voices, and that is all they can do, to lend their voices. They cannot march to the street and lead the protests, because if they do anything of sort, the government will hijack it. Do you understand? The opposition will hijack it, and they will say they have led protests to the death and the killing of people, and that's not what we want. Do you understand? See, the only solution is when we are ready for the solution of this whole thing. That is the truth. When we are ready, you understand? They said it was told to Esau that when you are tired, when you are become restless, you will break the yoke from off your neck. Believers have not gotten to that point where we are restless. Do you understand? We are still complaining. A lot of people just come to the social media, just cry and rant about it, and everybody just goes by their daily life. You see all these things happening, by next week it will fade. I mean, the story, everybody will focus on a new story. That's just the truth. They know that people are always getting carried away by the latest trend. That's the truth. You understand? But if these guys keep this tempo of going and attacking places, attacking schools, attacking industries, attacking institutions, attacking churches and all that, of course it will continually be in the news. But I tell you, if they stop and give like a 2 weeks break, you will be surprised the way people will just move on. So we are not yet ready. But it is sad, and it is time for us to actually be cautious and wake up, because they are everywhere. You need to be alert. You need to speak up when you want to speak up, and we need to do something, not to sit down and be making content and videos. We actually need to do something. Our governments have totally told us that they are irresponsible at this point in time. They are irresponsible, and they are already infiltrated. We have shared videos of people coming out to confess. Now even the president saying his hands are tied, he cannot fight it. I don't think the president of this country is a blood-sucking demon. No, I don't see Tinubu as somebody that wants people to die, wants to kill Christians and all that. No, the ones that are extremists, they will not even attempt to marry somebody that is from another faith. They will not even attempt it. Tinubu is not an extremist. The president of Nigeria is not an extremist. But every other person, we cannot vouch for them, because these people are diabolic and demonic in their nature, and that's just the truth. Christians, we need to wake up and act fast. That is just the truth. You can see how these guys are brandishing their weapons, and they are not even persecuted. Those that are persecuted are given 10 years imprisonment, 20 years imprisonment. Then those that are not even caught with arms are given life sentences. That is the country we find ourselves in. So it is time for Christians. In fact, my ending of this video is this. This is a wake-up call for Christians to begin to get into politics. Yes, it is true. Politics is a dirty game. I tell you, people go inside. The moment you go in, even a reverend father will come out and deny genocide after agreeing that they are killing, and there is a deliberate killing of Christians in the state. In few months, he's already saying that there is nothing like that. You can't imagine that. You can't imagine that. It's really, really sad. Even if the Americans are amplifying it to the the point that they are thinking that there are no Christians in Nigeria. Maybe if you come out and you say you're a Christian, they will just unalive you. Maybe people are walking on the road and they think you are a Christian, they just capture you and they unalive you. If that is the idea they have, let them have that idea, let them have that notion, if that is what will keep them and make them intervene into the situation. You understand? But we know that is not how it is here. But there are cities and there are places in this country that is how it is right there. People will be in their houses, in their homes, and they invade them, annihilate them, set the whole place on fire, take over their land, take over their buildings, and you say it is not happening. It is happening. The fact that it has not gotten to where you are, or it has not gotten to the city, does not mean you should be at ease. Woe unto them that are at ease in Zion. Woe unto them. Don't be at ease, because these people are planning this thing and they are coming, and basically we are totally surrounded. We are totally surrounded. So all we can do as Christians, as believers, right now as we go to church tomorrow, is to pray for the intervention of God. And from Monday we begin to act. Let us begin to speak up. Let us begin to mount pressure. That is the truth. So that there will be solution. There will be solution. A lady came and she was commending the government of Tinubu that he is doing well, that there's nothing like Christian genocide in our area and all that. Now we are just hearing that 3 of our family members were part of the people that were taken, in the last CAC attack. You understand? Now it has gotten to her. I hope she will come out and retweet and talk about how great and how nice the government is working. That's Kama already speaking. So imagine, and you see some people, some Christians still coming out to say nothing like that. May the Lord help us. May the Lord help us. Please and please, let us not let this slide. Let's keep sharing these videos so that until we get the help we want. There is a shift coming in Nigeria. Something prophetic is about to happen in this country, and we can sense it. But it's time for us to be part of it. We are enlisted for the plan of God for this country, and we will not be left behind. Amen.